You think NVIDIA is still just a chip company. You watch the stock ticker, you see the staggering market cap, and you think this is a story about hardware. Silicon, cruising graphics. But behind closed doors, Jensen Huang is quietly orchestrating the most audacious heist in industrial history. He isn't trying to dominate the tech sector anymore. He is seizing control of the world's power grids. By 2026, the NVIDIA ecosystem has evolved from an AI accelerator into a digital weapon capable of dictating global energy distribution. This isn't about gaming, and it's not even about ChatGPT. It's about a physical reality that no one is talking about. The AI revolution is running out of juice. And the only company that can save it is the one now holding the physical switch to modern civilization. To understand the crisis, you have to look at the raw math. A single NVIDIA H100 GPU draws about 700 watts of power at peak performance. That's more than the average American household uses in an entire hour, packed into a piece of silicon the size of a paperback book. But nobody buys just one. When tech giants build current generation Blackwell and upcoming Rubin GPU clusters, they're grouping hundreds of thousands of these chips into a single facility. The power draw is staggering. We're talking about single data center campuses demanding up to 5 gigawatts of power. That is enough electricity to light up 3 million homes. Or, if you prefer a more cinematic metric, it's equivalent to 4 Back to the Future style DeLorean time machines running simultaneously, 24/7. This sheer intensity has broken the traditional relationship between tech companies and local utilities. In places like Northern Virginia, the data center capital of the world, the local grid is literally choking. Tech companies are knocking on the doors of power executives, begging for electricity, only to be told, "Sure, we can hook you up." In 2032, imagine having $1 trillion to spend on AI, but you can't plug your computers into the wall. This physical scarcity of energy has become the ultimate bottleneck for artificial intelligence. If you control the power cord, you control the future of human intelligence. And Jensen Huang realized that selling hardware without guaranteeing the electricity to run it is a losing strategy. Enter NVIDIA's masterstroke, the transition to power as a service. NVIDIA is no longer just shipping a crate of chips to your warehouse. They are increasingly partnering with massive infrastructure funds to secure, guarantee, and deliver the literal megawatts required to run them. The power cord has officially been weaponized. But how do you manage a machine that eats more power than a small nation? You build a software brain to control the grid itself. If you know anything about NVIDIA, you know their real monopoly isn't their chips, it's CUDA, the proprietary software ecosystem that millions of developers use to write AI code. If you want to train an AI model, you must use CUDA. Well, in 2026, CUDA has quietly metastasized into the physical world. NVIDIA has rolled out a highly sophisticated software layer called DSX Flex, designed for what the industry calls energy-aware computing. You see, AI workloads are not stable. When a model undergoes massive training or real-time inference, its power consumption spikes and plunges within sub-milliseconds. To a standard municipal power grid, these microsecond fluctuations look like an absolute nightmare, a sequence of mini-shocks that can literally blow out transformers and trigger citywide blackouts. Traditional utilities, running on technology from the 1970s, simply cannot react that fast. But NVIDIA's software can. NVIDIA's energy orchestration software sits between the data center and the city's power grid. It monitors grid stability in real time. If a heat wave hits a city and residential air conditioners spike the municipal load, the CUDA integrated energy system can autonomously throttle down non-priority AI workloads, instantly freeing up megawatts for the community. Think about the psychological weight of that. A private, corporate software algorithm is now dynamically deciding how a city prioritizes its industrial versus residential electrical loads. The chip has become sentient about its own cost of living. It calculates its own carbon footprint, assesses the current real-time price of a megawatt on the open market, and moves its computational tasks to whichever data center on Earth has the cheapest, most stable power at that exact second. You got to ask yourself, when a single tech company's software understands the electrical grid better than the utility companies that built it, who is really running the country? But this goes much deeper than just consuming power intelligently. Jensen Huang's ultimate trick is turning his data centers into virtual power plants. Historically, data centers have been massive, unidirectional energy sinks. Power goes in, heat comes out, and nothing returns to the world. But NVIDIA's next-generation reference designs, built in collaboration with energy orchestrators like Emerald AI, are completely reversing this dynamic. NVIDIA is forming massive alliances with the biggest utility titans on the planet, companies like NextEra, Constellation, and ES. Together, they're deploying AI-driven smart transformers and multi-megawatt behind-the-meter battery storage systems directly inside the data center footprint. When a local grid is stable, the data center sucks in power and builds massive AI tokens. But when the grid stresses, the data center flips a switch. The GPU cluster is no longer just a processor. It is a massive, decentralized battery and stabilization unit for the world's fragile renewable energy sectors. Solar and wind power are notoriously intermittent. The sun doesn't always shine, the wind doesn't always blow. By using AI factories as massive shock absorbers, NVIDIA can stabilize a nation's renewable energy supply in real time. Later this year, the world's first commercial-scale, power-flexible AI factory, a massive 96-megawatt facility in Virginia, goes fully live, capable of modulating its entire power draw instantly to rescue the local grid. It sounds beautiful, right? A green, self-healing grid powered by artificial intelligence. But remember, nothing in business is a charity, especially when geopolitics gets involved. For the last few years, nations have been fighting a bitter war over chip supply. Washington passed the CHIPS Act. Export controls were slammed onto foreign markets. Countries scrambled just to get an allocation of silicon. But that old chip supply war? It's already yesterday's news. We have entered a far more volatile era, the era of energy accords. Sovereign nations are realizing that if they do not possess state-of-the-art AI infrastructure, their industrial productivity will collapse. And NVIDIA knows it. Strategic indicators show that tech giants are increasingly negotiating direct diplomatic accords with sovereign governments. The terms? Simple. NVIDIA guarantees preferential access to its most advanced, restricted compute clusters. In exchange, the sovereign nation grants NVIDIA direct control, operational rights, or deep integration into their national electrical distribution networks. Look at NVIDIA's shifting corporate footprint. They aren't just booking one-off hardware sales anymore. They're locking in 20-year, multi-billion-dollar infrastructure management contracts. They are becoming deeply embedded in the literal life support systems of modern economies. In the 20th century, the ultimate geopolitical power was held by the oil companies and the nations that sat on the reserves. They could turn off the pumps and freeze a country's economy overnight. In the 21st century, the oil is data, and the refineries are GPU clusters. If a government steps out of line, you don't need an embargo. You just have to restrict their access to the real-time grid orchestration software. You just flip the digital switch. If you look at the long-term internal roadmap leading toward 2030, the true scope of this pivot becomes clear. NVIDIA's sprawling global network of data centers will no longer be mere customers of the world's energy companies. They will act as a decentralized, global utility company that rivals and likely surpasses traditional power providers. We are building a world where a single, private corporation will manage the physical infrastructure required to sustain both human intelligence and national power. But this raises a terrifying question that no economist has an answer for yet. As artificial intelligence grows exponentially, it will become the single largest consumer and manager of the world's electricity. When an algorithm is optimizing the grid, will it prioritize lowering the electricity bill for an average household? Or will it prioritize routing that power to a high-margin AI factory that generates millions of dollars worth of data tokens every second? When energy and intelligence become the exact same commodity, global energy prices will no longer be determined by supply and demand. They will be determined by how badly a machine wants to think. Jensen Huang didn't just build a better chip. He built the matrix that will power our civilization. And by the time the rest of the world realizes what's happening, the utility bill will already be due. NVIDIA isn't the only tech giant pulling off a massive, hidden pivot. If you want to see how another corporate empire is secretly positioning itself to dominate the physical world, click on next video and make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.